In fact, we're going to be on several times this week. Today, we're going to be talking to a couple of gyms out there and basically how they are surviving the COVID-19 shutdowns and the plan for reopening. I'm really curious to know about how gyms are coping with that and what are their plans when they come back. I just have a little line of questioning that I want to run by them. So listen, if you are a gym owner and you have some ideas, and that you would like to come on the show, perhaps we can have you actually come on the show, send you a link. And if you want to speak openly about that live on the show, you'll be able to do that today. This is an open forum right now for about what are your thoughts? What are your plans? How has this affected you? And I know it has affected so many people in what I call some in the gig community, martial arts community, gyms of from whether it's karate, whether it's kickboxing, whether it's boxing, Muay Thai, whatever you want to call it, it certainly has affected a lot of people. So we just want to chat a little bit about that, and we'd love to hear your comments. We'd love to see you type in your message. And also, if you have a question, we can certainly type that in. The idea today is to talk about maybe some ideas that might help you, right? Maybe some things you haven't thought about as you plan your reopening process. I mean, trust me, as a promoter and stuff, I have to plan a reopening a business process too, based on the data and the things that are out there. So we're looking forward to talking to you, and hopefully you will take a few moments here to come and join us here on the show. We always want to thank our sponsors, Blackout Fights at blackoutfights.com and Eastern Offset Printing out of Atlantic Beach, North Carolina, for all they do for us. As always, guys, we want to thank all of those people out there on the front lines who are, keeping us safe and who are really, 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 doing a lot of good things for us. So we're definitely thankful for them today. I know a lot of times we look over them. We also want to express our sincere condolences to those who've lost someone during this pandemic. We're asking everyone to please, be safe out there and to be courteous of everyone. Continue to stay at home if you can. And that's what's interesting too, that some people are, opening back up some of these states. I certainly want to hear your thoughts about that as well. So without any further ado, what I want to bring up Kru Pol. We'll bring up Kru Pol first. Kru Pol is a trainer out of New Bern, North Carolina. And ironically, Kru Pol is also going to be doing I'm going to call it like a seminar and teaching me a few more things about elbows, the authentic way. Kru Pol, how are you?
สวัสดีค่ะ I'm doing. How are you?
I'm doing fine. It's so great to have you on the show today. And looking forward to hearing some of the thoughts about what's going on with you and how you are handling things during this pandemic. I know that it's not easy. I know there's a lot going on. But I certainly want to kind of hear where you are with things. First of all, let everyone know where you're located and a little bit about your gym.
Yes, my gym is located in New Bern, North Carolina. The gym's name Nine Limb Strikers, and I have been opening for a little bit over 3 years, turning 4. So right now we have been closed since a month.
Yeah.
It's like a month. And I post something yesterday. I have to move inside, Johnny. Do you hear my neighbor doing a lawnmower?
No, you're fine.
Oh, okay.
Right. Unless it gets real close, but right now we can hear you clearly. Yes.
Okay, they just started just right now. So yes, I posted something yesterday asking, did anyone know or have any idea when the gym gonna be open? The reason I'm asking because my landlord also asking, and I just said, well, I am not sure. I was hoping maybe middle of May, and right now it's kind of in the air. So we are, well, I think or I assume we're gonna be on pace 1 or we're gonna be on pace 2. So for that, we just have no idea.
I want to ask you a question about that. You mentioned about your landlord. How has that been during these times and working with them? Have they been working with you a little bit?
Oh yes, absolutely. My landlord actually giving 50% rent, and I hear what everybody have different opinions, right? Well, you shouldn't pay at all,
Yeah,
or
that was the first thought that kind of came to my mind. But go ahead.
you shouldn't have to pay that, or some like it just mixed feeling. And my landlord and I kind of have conversation on that end and on my end,
Mhm.
so we kind of trying to work together. uh, the loan, they have not freeze anything right now for people who take out loan.
Okay.
So on
So the
that end,
landlord, so the landlord is basically saying, "Hey, they've not stopped my bills, so."
can you give me 50?
Right. Okay. I mean, yeah, I get it. Everybody needs money, and I guess if you can work together, there's nothing
Yeah,
ideally wrong with that.
and and that's kind of like, well, I don't want to pay on my end because our mandate to be closed.
Yes.
And the landlord kind of say in the way, and he is so cool. He's a
Right.
cool landlord. Well, this is what happened, and which his reason is reasonable.
Right.
And I do know, as a lot of people, and you said the same thing. Right now, they cannot evict you for anything,
Right.
cannot kick you out,
Nope.
and uh, for the reason of paying is that, well, I want to keep good relationship with my landlord.
Right.
I
Right.
can't, and
That
uh,
makes a lot of sense.
sorry.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, so that's kind of for this month we have to for next coming up month in May, and we have to talk again. Like, hey,
Mm.
we have not been open at all,
Right.
and this is what happened. Uh, I know that what happening right now going to be culture shift from how we used to live before.
Well, I want to ask you. Hold on one second. I want to ask you about that. How do
Yeah.
you think it's going to change the actual culture of your gym?
It's going to change not just my gym, but for every gym. And surprisingly, uh, let's go. If the gym were going to open back up, uh, I am looking at until they found the vaccine,
Right.
social distancing going to be expecting or to be mandated until then.
Okay. So how do you plan to institute a social distancing program in a classroom setting? I mean, if you have so many students, I just want to know. I have an idea, but what is your plan for that?
Yes, for in different classes, there are certain class that we can do heavy bag workout, just non-partner. You don't train
Hmm.
with your partner at all.
Right.
So you kind of have your station and move to the next one, and with protective gear.
Mm.
It's going to be your own protective gear. Said you're going to require to have your own gloves
Mm.
because right now a lot of gyms apply uh, training gear for students.
Yeah, for the entire gym.
Yes, in the future, if we do open back up, not just to
No,
uh,
not if you open, when you open.
when we open, when I open,
Right.
uh, the student going to require to have their own training gear.
Hmm.
Uh, if they cannot afford training gear, I can give them out to borrow. They're a member, but you have to take it home and clean it up and put it back. So
Mm.
that day, you are not gonna swap gear with other students.
Right. Okay.
Of course, if you have flu-like symptom, this we have been started like before the pandemic really enforced the social distancing.
Do
If
you?
you have
Yeah.
flu-like
Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
if you have flu-like symptom, don't show up for class at all, please.
Right.
I love you, I miss you, but this is for you, for me, and for people who are in class that have elderly back home. They maybe live with parents or someone that
Right.
that have lung,
Right,
disease.
right, right, right. Underlying medical conditions. Right.
Right. Exactly. So that's for fitness and CrossFit, or not CrossFit, but like cardio class. But martial arts class, like traditional Muay Thai or Muay Boran class, that's going to be weapons and forms, because old school Muay Thai, they do have their forms.
Right. So you're not going to be a lot of clenching and kneeing and stuff like that, working like the clench and stuff like that.
No. As of right now, I don't see my school in particular doing clinch work at all with partner until they found the vaccine for coronavirus.
Mm,
Um,
mm,
it doesn't matter. They say it's good now, it's okay, it's not spreading as bad.
mm.
But I want to know in the back of my mind that I have done everything I possibly could
Right.
to prevent that to happen, because I could not live really with myself if someone catch something to
Yeah.
my face
Yeah.
and I am the one who neglect the safety.
Do you think you guys will be wearing masks?
Um, mask, you know, kind of, even the doctor, the people in the front line, right? They are two very different side. People wear masks, people don't wear masks.
Right.
And as study, if correct me if I'm wrong, only N95 mask could prevent coronavirus to
No, no,
spread.
no. As far as I know, I think that the N95 are the most popular, but I think any type of mask will work. For the most part, it's all about layers and filters and stuff like that. But the general mask, I think, will work. They even say you can put up like a scarf or something. I mean, those things work too. But that's okay. I get your point though. But
Yeah,
so you don't, for the most part, you don't think that you guys will be wearing masks in your class, or if they want to, they probably can. I'm sure.
I think it would be optional.
Right.
I think it would be optional.
Hmm.
For me, it would be hard for someone to work cardio and wearing mask.
Right, right. Yeah. Well, yeah, I get that too. I'm not sure question. I'm kind of curious about, and I know you don't know until you get more of a green light. And again, that's in my case as well. But after they give the green light, when do you think, or how long do you think it might take you to get back to some level of normalcy?
Um, I not think anyone can tell right now.
Right.
I think that it depends on not just like the medicine that they produce,
Right.
and so the news that they're trying to spread out now, it's
Mhm.
going to come back again in winter time.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. Speculation. Speculation. Yes.
So right now it's kind of okay. We have to plan as a business owner and also instructor.
Mhm.
Uh, right now, trying to plan step by step. We're going to open, going to keep class small, keep distance between students with
Mhm.
some weapons, to make sure that the students actually have a good distance from each other.
What do you think? What do you think the signal will be for you that things are kind of back to normal? Have you been watching enough of the news and certain people to get an idea of what that time or what? Okay, I feel comfortable now.
Um, well, I really wish I have good news. I would say, well, if we don't have spread for like certain days or weeks, but realistically, I not think people would be comfortable until they got the vaccine.
Mm,
It
okay,
doesn't matter what I said.
right.
Opened the gym tomorrow and said, I am good. No, no,
That don't mean people are gonna come rushing back in, right?
yes, you want to do some clinch work, um, because we can. Uh, and if we cannot do clinch at all, how do you think the grappler would be training until they got the vaccine? They're gonna be
Right,
training,
right,
right?
right,
And arts, and they will come back and train.
right, right. Well,
Really depend. It's the instructor perspective.
yes. Well, you know what?
Ups-
You and I are going to be working out. We're doing a special workout on Thursday where you're going to be teaching me a little bit more about authentic Muay Thai elbows and knees. I'm going to throw that in because, frankly, I really have some questions for you. I'm not even kidding. Look, I'm good at what I do, right, and all that, I still have questions about Muay Thai. Even though I've been involved with Muay Thai for over 20 some years, I've never had really any deep formal training, and I don't claim to. But I do know quite a bit about. I know the basics and all. Look, you're a grandmaster, assistant grandmaster. I mean, I'm not going to put my what I know against what. Now, I'm going to show you what I do know, and then you're going to tell me the authentic way and the right name. And I'm actually looking forward to that, and probably have my daughter and everything too. Listen, I want to, because I have some other guests waiting at the lobby, I do want to ask you a piece of philosophy or some advice that you can give people, maybe a word of optimism, some positivity for people, a word of hope for people, right? That we're going to be okay.
We're going to be okay. We're going to be okay. Um, I think everyone right now kind of adapt to the new lifestyle. Some people adapt a little bit harder than others.
Mm,
Um, us as martial artists, we
right.
inspire people, we motivate people. It is part of our job to help other people, you know, to stay positive,
Wow,
to
very good.
optimistic. And a lot of people I see right now doing such a great job. Black Belt USA, Master King, post picture after picture, doing this, doing that. Chris from 8 Point, he's doing a great job.
Right.
Kru J.T on the show, doing such a great job to promote positivity.
Yes.
And I really admire these instructor as because sometimes you post the next word that you're going to post on social media that could be the nicest thing you say in someone's.
It could change their life. I mean, and I've noticed that too. A lot of the people have been saying doing a lot of positive things. There are a few people on there that who are out there doing their thing, and they're posting a lot of stuff on social media. But when I try to get them on the show, they're not available. That's another story. Whoever that person is laughing right now. Hopefully they are. But I just want to warn people. I want to not warn. I just want to, in a friendly way. If you're out there and you are doing all this keyboard warring on Facebook, and I ask you to come on the show to talk about it, that makes me feel some type of way if you don't do that. I think that if you are willing to say certain things out there, I would love to have you come on and you can defend it. Well, I don't care what it is. I told you I can talk about anything, so if you want to do that. But you are absolutely awesome, Kru Pol. And I want to go ahead and bring up Mr. Albanese here for a second here. He's kind of associated with your club as well, but he teaches Hapkido. Totally different mindset, totally different philosophy. And also, we're going to bring him up really quick. And then at the end of that, we'll bring on Mr. J.T. Smith out of Mooresville, North Carolina. But you're awesome. Hey, go ahead and get those elbows and knees ready. We'll see you on Thursday at 2 o'clock.
Yeah, see you Thursday.
Thanks, Kru Pol. Thank you so much. All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're speaking there with Kru Pol there out of New Bern, North Carolina. And now what we're going to do, we're going to bring up Mr. John Albanese. He's a Hapkido instructor. And someone who has been in the game a long time as well, perhaps a little bit of a different perspective on what he's going to be doing and how he's going to be doing it. Master Albanese, how are you, sir?
Sir, how are you?
I'm doing just fine, doing just fine. Look, I just wanted to chat with you a little bit. How are things going over there for you in North Carolina?
Okay, well, it depends. Me specifically, this is my second time around. I've had my own school. First, I have to apologize. I'm from New York. I'm a New York transplant, so if I talk a little funny or start using my hands, that's part of my act. I have my own school since about Y2K, and I moved here to Carolina in 2013. And opened my own school. I'm a little bit of a different business model. I'm not a gym owner. I've always either been a commissioned employee or an independent contractor, and things were going right. I got my 6-7 years getting my school up and running in James City, and then Hurricane Florence comes and wrecks the facility.
Wow!
So this is my first time out, but thank you so much to your previous guest, Kru Pol. She immediately took me in, and I kept all my students after Hurricane Florence. And I've already promoted 1 to black belt. I have 4 candidates who are ready for black belt pretty soon. And here we go again.
Right. So it has affected you certainly in that way again, and with the students. But what about how do you look at the climate, the mindset of people and how they're dealing with this pandemic right now in the state of North Carolina?
Okay, well, I just got to specifically, if you've ever been to our school, we have 8 characters that were given to me by my grandmaster of values in the martial arts. It's not just, he always said, not just kick and punch, not just fight, but how can you use the lessons you've learned in the gym and apply it to your overall life. So it's more of a martial arts philosophy, a self-defense, self-development philosophy, as opposed to a competitive sport. But what really comes to mind are 3 of these characters out of the 8 that come to my mind are, first of all, spirit, bravery, and endurance. As some of the governors have said, this is not a sprint. This is a marathon. And those are the kind of things that you need for your mental focus, that through your overall training, how are you going to endure this? Right.
Those are some good words. Speaking of the governor, how do you think he's handling things here in North Carolina? Do you think the shutdowns right now, the way it is working, or should it be more like Georgia, who's opening up the state right now for pretty much everything?
Well, again, as I said, I'm a transplanted New Yorker. I watch the Andy Cuomo show every morning. Following what he's doing. The elephant in the room in your pajamas is it's red and blue, and it's an election year. You can't overlook that. And my feeling is that our North Carolina governor, he's kind of in the middle. A lot of the adjoining states are red. You got Virginia up north, which is blue. He's a blue governor. I have a feeling he's going to follow more of the New York model, and then we got to wait and see what happens down there.
Let me go there for just a second. Do you think politics, even though we know politics is in everything, but do you think politics should be ahead of the best things that we need to do to protect the healthcare workers and the general public?
Well, I think, again, I'll go back to Governor Cuomo. You got to look at that curve. And is that number, it is coming down. It's not coming down, plummeting.
I don't think it's coming down in Georgia.
You got to look at those numbers. I'm not privy to the numbers because I don't see the press releases from Georgia, but you got to look. And also, as they start opening up, what's going to happen? You got to look at that. And that's where, you have to be more data driven and look at the science of it. And not being a scientist, I've just been on lockdown at home for about 6 weeks. And all I do is watch the news all day and try to get as much information as I can, either off the cable TV.
Well, I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to ask you an offshoot question. Do you think that's a good idea, is to sit down and watch the news all day?
Sometimes I got to divert. I'm finding some good sports replays later on. ESPN had a very good special about 1968, the 1968 Olympics, and that was a good diversion. Got to see a 2009 NASCAR race. So, yeah, I do turn it off. Sometimes you do have to turn the TV off because, if you put the news on, I guarantee if I put the news on, it's not going to say, "Oh, we found a cure for the vaccine." That's not going to happen today. So you got to balance that, but you do want to stay informed.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, sometimes they just overindulge in the news, and they, based on whatever their views are, that's the station that they're looking at, and they become these, again, keyboard warriors on Facebook. We have a lot of experts on Facebook. Really, why even watch the news? You can go to Facebook and just find out anything you want to find out, and trust me, it's all true.
Well, the funny thing about it is the joke going around is back in January, everybody was a constitutional law scholar. Now everybody's an infectious disease expert.
Wow. What do you think it's going to take for you to rebound after something like this?
Okay, well, to be quite honestly, in my personal situation, I've got a double whammy here. Right now, I was supposed to be getting a hip replacement surgery.
Oh.
I can't walk without a crutch. But on the other hand, that's been deemed specifically by our governor as elective and not necessary right at this time. So I'm just trying to realistically look at it. And also, if you look at those phases that Governor Cooper is saying, first of all, phase one, I don't think will be starting anytime soon. It might even be kicked down the road. I'm not sure. It's either between next May 8th and May 23rd. But that's and I believe that gyms are going to be phase two. So that's obviously going to be later on down the line. When do they open up the elective surgeries? Because right now it would be a great time for me to just be sitting down, doing nothing, rehabbing from a hip replacement surgery. Right. But guess what? I had to do my patriotic citizen duty and say, no, that respirator that they might be using for my anesthesia might be used somewhere else. They might need PPE, this is an awful story, absolutely awful story. My boxing coach from Brooklyn, his elderly mother on Long Island went in the hospital for COPD.
Oh.
And she caught the Rona in the hospital and died on a ventilator. So, that's the other thing is, do I want to go to a doctor's office? I'm also blessed with certain family information because my sister you've met is a doctor, a surgeon, and she knows.
I forgot about Miss Ann. I forgot she was your sister.
Yeah. No. That not Miss Ann. That's my other sister, Caroline. Who I believe.
Okay, Caroline. Okay.
Yeah. My brother-in-law is our local infectious disease expert here in Newburgh. Okay. And so we got the 411 very early on. We were supposed to. Let's go back about a month or so ago. We're going to have a karate tournament, the Kinston Madness. I think it was like March 14th.
Right.
Up there in Kinston. And also I had a very lucrative coaching gig up at Virginia Tech the week later. But then all of a sudden you start seeing that, the NBA shuts down, the college basketball tournament starts shutting down, and then all the sports started falling in the line. So all those gigs went away. But it was, my family calling me and saying, no, you got to shut down. So we did it voluntarily about a week before the official governor's order.
Right. Do you have an opinion about how big, massive events like baseball games, basketball games, football games are going to be able to come back? Do you have an idea? You just have any kind of thoughts on that?
Well, obviously, let's look at it as a coach or as a trainer. They can't start playing unless they have some kind of preseason. Everybody's going to need some kind of preseason training.
Right.
Now, and also I think, when are the gyms going to come back? Big group classes, I don't think so. One-on-one training. Like I hear the NBA, they can't have team practices, but they bring them into the gym one at a time and, let them shoot hoops. Are they going to play baseball and everybody has to take a test and there's nobody in the stands? You have to look at from both the top and the bottom. You got to look and see what the major sports leagues are going to do. And each sport is a little bit different in terms of how much contact there is. And then you also have to look at, what are the youth developmental leagues going to do? Yeah. What are the high schools going to do? Yeah. And then the NCAA, is in the middle. Sure. And then you also have to look at sport by sport. Again, I'm a big NASCAR fan. Now, that's something you can social distance. Yeah, the cars might be 6 inches apart, but you're in a car. Everybody's got gloves. Everybody's got a suit. They got a ventilator connected to a helmet with a screen, including the pit crew. And that's something that's very, could be put on TV and
Right.
still maintain the social distancing. On the other hand, if you get into a WrestleMania where people are all wrestling and you put 80,000 people in the stands, that's not going to happen anytime soon.
I know, but Dana White is looking at doing an MMA event. He was, but seemed like I saw it pop up again that he was going to do something coming up in May, and where he's not going to have an audience, but he's only going to have fights. What do you think about this?
Yeah. Okay, then it's it also goes back to the question of testing, and everybody should be tested to make sure that you're not putting two guys in the ring and one of them might have been exposed, and then you're going to have that. The way I understand the science is, you got there's that 14-day incubation period where somebody might have it. Just like the NBA, the guy was playing a game and he had it and he gave it to the guy who's guarding him, and that's when the NBA shut down. So you
have a degree. You have a degree of some kind of political science or something, or what is it?
Yeah. I'm very well educated. I have a political science degree from the University of Michigan, and I also have a law degree from Pace University. And I gave it up to become a coach.
Right, that's what I was kind of putting all that together, saying, okay, so now he's, well, you know what? It is what it is, and that's what choice is.
Product of too much education.
Right. But I do want to ask you, because I have JT waiting in the lobby there, maybe some others. But I certainly want to ask you about how I closed out with Kru Pol. It was about perhaps a few words of inspiration and motivation to people about how we will overcome this.
Okay, well, specifically to my students, this is our second time around, all right? And every single one of my students followed me over to Kru Pol's, right? That another one of the values that up there is loyalty, right? And so I've got very good loyalty from my students. It's my body of work. I have 4 students who, from little kids up to teenagers, who are ready for black belt, right? Our training's on hold for a little while. And you got to think about my little guys who's looking to get his next stripe on his green belt. And we're supposed to have a promotion exam in May. I just got to go back to my characters: spirit, essence, loyalty, bravery, trust, endurance. You got, there's a reason why it's up there on our dojang, and you got to tap into that.
Online.
On a personal level, though, with you, I hear you talking about other folk, but deep down inside, John, how are you dealing with this? How are you, on a personal level, dealing with this on a day-to-day?
Day-to-day, well, again, it's something that you talked about, Kru, before. When can I come back? I'm taking care of my octogenarian parents right now. I've been on lockdown with them for about 7 weeks.
Okay, I need you to break that word down for me. Octogenarian?
That means they're over 80. I don't want to tell you my mother's age. They're both over 80. They're in the mid-80s, right? Everybody's functioning okay. Nobody's sick, but that was like one of the first things is you got to keep the old people safe. They're in a high risk category. If they get it, it's not good. Right. And so we're struggling along with that. And then, like I said, but I'm walking around, how much can I help? Because I need a hip replacement right now. So for me, it's personally tough, but just trying to take it day by day, and keeping the focus and keeping the endurance.
Right. Well, you know what? I'm really glad that you came on today and gave us a perspective on this thing, because I really think that a lot of people are going to, go through a lot of changes emotionally, financially, obviously, and we need words of inspiration, to somehow get through this, because we will get through this. It will pass.
Oh, we will.
We'll look back on this thing and we're going to say, "Wow, that!" I guarantee you, we won't forget it. I guarantee you, perhaps we're going to appreciate more of what we have,
and we're going to learn something too.
Oh yes.
It's a learning experience for everybody.
Right. Master Albanese, thanks so much for being on today, and we hope to talk to you again soon, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. Hope to see you sometime soon.
Yes, sir. Bye-bye. All right. Thank you. All right. We're speaking of Master John Albanese. He's also out of New Bern, North Carolina. Teaches the sport of Hapkido and all. And so what we're going to do, we're going to keep it rolling on. Again, we want to thank our sponsors of Blackout Fights at blackoutfights.com for all they do for us. And we also want to thank Eastern Offset Printing out of Atlantic Beach, North Carolina. Again, we're inviting you to come on the show today. If you have comments, we'd love to see your comments. Perhaps we will put them on the screen, and we will ask our next guest, who is none other than Mr. J.T. Smith, someone who I've been knowing for quite a few years. Outstanding guy. He's the crew over Lake Norman Muay Thai out of Mooresville, North Carolina. Kru J.T., how are you, sir?
Good, Johnny. How you doing?
I'm doing just fine, I guess, as well as I could be right now. Shut down, but at least I can talk to people. Right? That's always a good thing. I don't think I have a problem doing that. So, your gym is now shut down. It's been shut down for how long now, JT?
Oh gosh, I guess ever since it started here in North Carolina. What is that, about 6 weeks now, I guess?
Good. How has that been for you personally?
I've really been struggling with it, to be honest with you. This is something that we built from the ground up, and to see something like this knock it down, it's tough.
I know you have a very successful club over there in Mooresville, tons of students and everything, a lot of talented people over there as well. From a financial perspective, breaking it down just a little bit more, have your students mostly continued to support the club, or did most of them just say, well, I'm just going to wait and see?
We've actually had very good support. Unfortunately, it's not just the virus that is affecting people, it's the repercussions of the virus as well. Some people have lost their jobs.
Yes.
So, it's not just the fear of the virus, it's now people no longer have the money to pay for the classes. And so I don't have people who have who've quit because of the fear of the virus. It's just the finances have
don't have the money.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and that's going to have some lasting effects for quite a while. What would be your idea, if you will, about how long you think it might take you to get back to some type of normal circumstances? I know it's based on the virus. The virus dictates that. But you also have some thoughts about the virus that perhaps you don't think that maybe is as big or strong as, even though it doesn't matter because it's about your students, right?
Yeah.
But you have some thoughts about that, right?
Yeah.
Well, hey, look, like Johnny Davis Live,
Okay.
Real talk, real solutions. Hey, I want it real. Listen, I want to just have a real conversation.
Right. Well, yeah, absolutely. I do think that this is it is a severe problem, but I've also, from what I have seen, what I have read, it is. I'm not sure that quarantining everybody is the solution. I think quarantining the more susceptible would have been the correct solution. That's just me. I mean, but
Okay. So here we go, JT.
I don't get to make those decisions.
Here we go, JT.
Okay.
I got to mess with you just a little bit.
I know you would.
Ladies and gentlemen, introducing the new governor of North Carolina. Please do welcome Mr. J.T. Smith. Okay, JT, so you're the governor,
Okay.
right? Tell me, based on the information that you have, how would you have done this particular process of the lockdown, social, etc.? Okay, I just want to hear it, sir.
Wow, man.
Oh, let me do this. Dun, 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 dun. And I just thought I would add that too.
That's kind of a tough question to put just right out like that.
Well, JT, that's what I do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm of the opinion that a state like North Carolina is not going to respond the same way a state like New York is going to do.
True.
We have to treat it seriously, but it appears to me that most of the damage from the disease is coming in places that have large quantities of people, large populations that are right on top of each other.
Yes, condensed.
That's not the way it is here in North Carolina.
Right.
So, it would have been similar to what we are doing, but I think that we may be stretching this out a little bit longer than we should.
Okay, so I
Somebody
think
somebody
yeah.
said early on, the the cure cannot be worse than the disease.
Okay, perhaps. I guess it's a matter about educating everyone. Do you think the government has responded the way they should have? You think all that was in a timely fashion?
Um, I mean, some of it, yes. I mean, who saw this coming? This is
Well, I
something.
think some people saw it coming, but they were saying, well, we're not going to get that political. But some people saw it coming. But I'm just asking, do you think that we could have done something differently that could have saved 56,000, at least some of the 56,000 people that's died from this?
It's a pandemic. It is what it is. People are going to die. No matter what you do, people are going to die. I think we've done what we can. Um, you know, 50 or 60,000. How bad was it supposed to be? Originally when I heard about this, they were saying we're going to need tents outside the hospital, and what about all these ventilators that we needed that we wound up not really needing?
Well, so perhaps the social distancing has been something that might have worked and maybe saved their lives. Should we be cheering the fact that okay, well, we only have provided 60,000 people as opposed to 200,000? I mean, 60,000 people is a lot of people,
Yeah.
right? So if we'd have done nothing at all, what if it would have gone to 200,000? Then we would have called it a failure. I mean, it's kind of weird. I hear that argument, JT,
Yeah.
respectfully all the time of that. Well, it was only 56, well, because you didn't lose your family member. Respectfully, I know you've just
Yeah.
lost someone, but not to that, I don't think.
No.
So I'm just saying, for the people that it has touched, the people that you've actually had a family member that passed away from it, do you think they might see that comment a little bit differently?
I think how do you scale it? How do you know
Well,
it's
I'm just saying, if you had someone that you personally lost in your family, or whoever that is, do you think they might see that comment a little bit differently?
I'm sure emotions are high right now, and people are going to feel differently about it. But yeah, I mean, I could see that.
Right. Just thought I would shoot
Yeah.
that at you and everything. What are your plans for when they give that green light to reopen? How do you plan? You have some type of written down agenda how you plan to reopen? Or is it just going to be open the doors, just train, or are you going to have other precautions in place?
Well, the one thing about the current situation is there's plenty of time to think.
You got that right.
And so I'm right now. A lot of it's going to have to do with what the policies are that the state of North Carolina gives us. But right now, I'm thinking of something like maybe instead of having the 2 or 3 classes that we have a night, maybe just opening it up from like 5 o'clock until 10 o'clock, and doing something like a 10 round circuit to where you come in whenever you want to come in during that 5 to 10 hours, and you do your circuit, because I can put 6 feet in between each circuit and have 10 people in here training at one time, and still maintain that social distance. And
Mhm.
just tell everybody, come in, do your stations, and then once you're finished with your stations, hit the door and go.
I asked you a little earlier, are you going to require people to wear masks?
No,
No.
no, I will not.
Okay. Is there any concern to you about the young, healthy people that are coming to the gym to work out, if indeed they catch the COVID, the corona? Some people call it Rona in short, and they take it back to maybe a sensitive member. Are you just going to kind of leave that up to them?
I am going to leave it up to him. I am going to have, we're going to have keep the place nice and clean,
Mhm.
and keep our hands washed, and keep the equipment wiped down real good, and just keep it as clean as we can in here, and then follow what rules we can. But I'm not going to require people to wear masks as they're training.
Right, right. So, have you done any type of additional training, like social media, like the Zoom or something like that? You know, to keep people kind of inspired and motivated along the way.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, we have about 2 months before all this happened. I joined a organization called Kicksite. Uh,
Hmm.
that has been just great. It's to help you monitor your gym and your people and all. It's a business program, and one of the things that they had was a site that you could go to where you could post your own private videos. And so all of my students are on that link and can go to
Nice.
the site, and whatever videos I put out, they can go and check those out.
Oh, that's cool. Do you think this pandemic will forever change the way you teach and or the how you offer your programs? Perhaps, like, will you think? Do you think you will continue to use that social media platform that you just mentioned, or do you think you're just going to throw it to the side when you're done,
Well,
when this is
one
over?
of the reasons that I chose Kicksite was so I would be able to do videos like that.
Mm.
So, I mean, I had originally had planned to go ahead and do videos, at home videos, but this kind of put it on the forefront.
Well, that's kind of interesting, because we just had a comment from Mr. Rodney Ingberts and said 1 year ago, I heard gym owners across the country ridicule people online about their online martial arts classes. And now everybody's doing them. What do you think about that?
I think online classes are. Well, what are your options, Johnny?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I get it. I
Uh,
get it. But
uh,
I think, well, obviously it takes a little bit of that personal, feeling and touch away from it. Of course it does. It's a little bit different, would you say?
it definitely. And plus, you don't have a coach standing there in front of you yelling at you, telling you hit the bag harder.
One of the things, JT, that's interesting that you bring that up, because one of the things why I was, first of all, I had a show on talking about underlying medical conditions a few weeks ago. Very interesting show. If you didn't see it, check it out on my timeline, Johnny Davis. One of the things, too, though, that they were talking about was about gyms being essential to people. And I think they are, of course. I believe they are. I'm not a member of a gym, but I think they're very essential. But beyond that, you have another situation in your gym that you teach, this Rock Steady program,
Mm.
that basically working with seniors that suffering or has, Parkinson disease and stuff like that. How have they been affected throughout this pandemic?
It's been a disaster.
Mm.
Just to just to put it
Tell
simply.
us a little bit more. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Well, the way Parkinson's works, or the program works, is those people come in. The Muay Thai people. This is something that they do for fun. It's something that they do for fitness. But if they have to go without it for weeks or months at a time, they'll eventually get over it. If
Right.
somebody who has Parkinson's disease that's missing uh, this class that I'm offering, then they go from being on being able to walk to being on a walker within a matter of weeks. And so,
Wow.
if they're not getting this program, it is just it's very very hard on them, and so their body starts to deteriorate. And so that's been the hard thing, and that's one of the, I guess, one of the things that's really bothering me about the lockdown right now. I actually filed to be considered essential strictly for the Parkinson's class. I filed the Department of Revenue with the state of North Carolina, and I explained to them, these people, if they don't have this class, it greatly affects their health. So it's kind of a roll of the dice. I mean, they could come to class and possibly contract coronavirus. The chance is there. They may not, but I can guarantee you this, and this is 100%. If they're not coming in and they're not getting their exercise for their Parkinson's,
Mm.
will deteriorate and they will get worse.
Wow. So really, that really makes your gym, in particular, someone who's teaching the Rock Steady program like you, a little bit more essential. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I thought so. State
Yeah,
of
yeah.
North Carolina did not.
So yeah, I know, but those are things that can you write to your governor and tell them about your specific, because it's like a hospital, well, not quite like an hospital, but it certainly has some benefits like that of a hospital, wouldn't you say?
Yes,
Or
definitely.
like a rehab, more like a rehab type facility, wouldn't that be considered kind of essential?
Yes, definitely.
Did you try to push that to your governor?
I pushed it to the Department of Revenue, but we're in the process of taking it up to the next level right now. But it's government, so it takes a while.
As we close out here, JT, and I really do appreciate you taking a moment to tell us about what's going on in the state of North Carolina and some of your thoughts and opinions. But I certainly, in this time, it's very difficult for a lot of people. I would love to hear some of your philosophy, if you will, for how people can, deal with some of these tough times that we're going through.
Well, I think the main thing to remember is, this is not something that's new. It's just new to us.
Mm,
We never, uh, me and you, we're kind of the older folks in this business, and so we never saw anything like this. This is new
right.
to us. I have teenage kids, and I'm like, I never thought that they would experience this, but live through it, remember it, learn from it. Now it's like we were talking about those online classes. Now all of a sudden those things seem a lot more valuable to you. Wouldn't it have been nice if a year ago we had have seen this coming, and man, we could have been working on those videos and getting them ready, and
Yeah,
because now it's like if I'm going to do a video, I
yeah.
a certain time make sure it comes out and looks good. And I mean, it's a lot of pressure to get that stuff done.
Yeah, there's been a lot of people on that learning curve, and I see a lot of people now starting shows. They're doing like these type of broadcasts, and they're on that learning curve right now. I've learned a lot, but don't get me wrong, I still have my errors and my shortfalls. But I'm passionate about what I do. This will not be something I'm going to stop because of the pandemic. I plan to
Yeah,
continue. I'll do it when it was here, when it wasn't here, and I have so much to talk about. Trust me, right? That I
yeah.
can keep it going. So we're going to have a lot of fun with it. I just really, on a final thought about how do you think socially we have so many problems politically, racial, religion. Do you think this is going to hopefully, in a way, positively affect us? Or do you think it exacerbates the negativity when you talk about social distance? Because some people don't want to be around you anyway. All right. They don't want, so it's easier for them. Nope, I got a reason now to stay away from you. All right. But
Yeah.
how do you think this is going to affect our society as a whole when it comes to how we get along with one another?
I would like to think that that we would come together, but seems like we're very divided right now. Everybody's got their own opinions
Yeah.
about it. And I, for one, I believe I want to respect everybody's choice to proceed with this situation as they can. But it's kind of sad in a way, because I think of I look back to say 9/11, and that was a big catastrophe that we had,
Yeah.
and everybody came together.
Yeah.
That was the only good thing that came from that was
Didn't feel like that this time.
our country was unified, and
Yeah.
and we're still very much divided right now.
You're right. It doesn't feel like this has really brought us there. I know people have all these little hashtags. We're all in it together and all that, but are we really? When you can't even go to your neighbor's house, or anything. I mean, we are in it together, but certainly I do question whether or not it's brought us closer. I hope that it will. Certainly, those are my hopes. Because we certainly need something to heal this society, because we have really been harmed over the years here, and dividing ourselves by race and by religion and
Yeah.
by politics and things like that. And it is time for us to come together and to see people for people, beyond the color of their skin, but more for the content of their character. You know, we really need to come closer to that. And I know that I feel that way in my heart, regardless of your background, or ethnicity, your sexual orientation. I love people in general. And I just hope that we can come closer to that. Mr. J.T. Smith, I thank you so much for coming on the show today, letting us know some of your thoughts and about how you're going to reopen your club. And that will happen. And hopefully it'll happen sooner rather than later, sir. Thanks so much.
Be safe.
That's right. Thank you, sir. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're speaking there with Mr. J.T. Smith there. You know, and earlier we spoke with Kru Pol and Master John Albanese. We are thankful for everybody who came on today and left some of their comments. The goal is that just to, you know, get it out, guys. Just talk about it, right? And I think that everybody's kind of gone through a tough and difficult time, certainly life-changing, but hopefully we will learn from this thing and be better, not only as individuals, but as a society, as a world, because of it. All right, guys, that's all I have for you today. Remember to join me back here on this Thursday at 2 o'clock with Kru Pol, as she is going to be teaching me a little bit more about elbows and knees, the way they do it in Thailand, guys. That's right. We're bringing Thailand to me, right? And also looking forward to that. That's this Thursday at 2 o'clock p.m. You don't want to miss that. Also, on this Friday, we'll be rescheduling our conversation that we had with Mr. Eric Parker. Hope you guys will join us for that. Really sharp, really intelligent guy there. And he's also been a big volunteer during this COVID-19 period. So hope you guys will definitely check us out for that coming up on this Friday at 12 noon. We always want to thank you for checking us out here at Johnny Davis Live. We want you to make sure that you always respect each other. Wash your hands, stay at home if you can, but always forward march. This is Johnny Davis Live, and I'm checking out. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.